What is up, Outdoors Tribe? Welcome back to the Outdoorsman Oath podcast. I'm Tyler, and today we'll be diving into the heart of Ohio with the Kings of Minerals, the legends at New Beginning Minerals. They're not just selling rocks, they're shaping the world of wildlife magic. Quality products, jaw-dropping deer. This episode is the real deal. So let's get our rock on and uncover the secrets of New Beginning Minerals. Buckle up, it's time for episode 4. So what's up, guys? Good to have you on the podcast.
Good to be here.
Good to be here. How are you today?
Oh, not too bad. It's getting a little cold outside, so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Same here. Cold and wet.
Yeah, we just got a cold snap not too long ago, so.
Oh, geez. Well, is y'all's deer hunting season still open, or is that over with in Ohio?
Our bow season goes clear until February 4th.
Oh, geez. Okay, that's pretty long season.
We've got quite a bit of hunting time left yet.
Okay, well that's good for you guys.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
We still got muzzleloader season coming up. It's only a one weekend, so, but we got that coming up in January, so.
Okay, are y'all gonna get out there for that?
Oh yeah, I am for sure 100%.
Yeah, I love muzzleloading.
Yeah, I haven't really done much of it. I'd like to get into it. I've always heard it's a good time.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a lot easier than it was back then with the old flintlock style and the cast lock.
Oh yeah, I couldn't imagine being like Daniel Boone with the old
Yeah.
I could imagine that being the style like if you don't harvest an animal with that, you're not getting dinner. So.
Well, yeah, you got the old smooth bore, you perfect aim, and you hit the neighbor's dog 6 miles away.
Yeah. Yeah, I borrowed a buddy of mine's old style muzzleloader, and it's like carrying a piece of iron around.
Oh, geez, I bet.
Yeah, I hunt with a Thompson Center Impact. That's a nice, light, pretty solid muzzleloader, and it'll hit right on the money, 250 yards every day.
With a muzzleloader?
With a muzzleloader, all day, every day, 250 yards.
Man, that's impressive.
Yeah, I shoot Oh, I'm sorry. I shoot a...
Oh, no, that's me. You can. All right.
Oh, go ahead. I shoot a CB Optima Pro. That's what I shoot.
Right on. Well, that's pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So, if y'all wouldn't mind, could you introduce yourselves and kind of share your background and in the deer attractant and like mineral industry? What got you into it?
Right.
Yeah.
You want to go first? Or?
Yeah, I'll go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm Eric Everson. I'm the founder of it and the CEO, and I've been deer hunting since I can ever remember, since I was 15 years old. And then I got into it a little bit years later with starting the minerals up and everything. And so my grandpa used to hunt, and basically he was the only one that hunted. So and then I got into it as just a hobby and everything. The hunting, I hunted squirrel, deer, rabbits, pheasants, and then what really got me interested in the minerals was the attractiveness of it, because I would work so much and everything that I wanted something that would attract them really fast. So I started experimenting with like different types of minerals on the shelf, and like nothing seemed to work. So I came up with my own attractant and minerals. So and that's how I kind of got into the mineral business. So
Okay, so is it just like a random spark of idea? You're like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna go my own way and do it myself.
It was kind of like that, because I'd use stuff off the shelf, they would eat it, but then they wouldn't come back to it. And I was like, and that's what sparked the idea of coming up with my own stuff, because nothing else would work off the shelf. And see, I worked like my schedule, my work hours would be like 50 to 60 hours a week. And so I'd get very little time deer hunting, and I was noticing that the other products weren't working. They would eat it, but then they wouldn't come back for it. So I wanted to create something that would actually work and attract them all the time. And and then when I came up with this, there was just unbelievable trails and things coming to it, and they would tear the ground up and they would dig holes and everything. And so that's it was just unbelievable.
Yeah, I can attest to that personally because you sent me that mineral and I put it out next to a creek bed and I went in there a month or two after I put it in and they just tore it up. It was wild.
It was amazing when I first put it out. I put it on a rotten stump, and then I came back about a week later and it looked like a dirt bike trail had been going from there to the minerals and then and back and everything. And it was just amazing because I used like what would be at the top of the line product out there, and they wouldn't touch it. They would just eat it and then they wouldn't come back for it. It was just, and it just, when I put this out, and it just, the trails were just amazing. It was like 2 inches in the ground and just like pictures. I had one guy said he put it out and he got 25,000 pictures on it, and like a month and a half time. It was just crazy.
Man, that's insane. Well, before we get too far into the science and get into the nitty gritty of the product, if your partner there, he wouldn't mind introducing himself and kind
Yeah,
of.
Yep.
sure.
Yep. Yeah, my name's Tommy Kemp. I'm Eric's business partner, kind of the nutrition side of things here at New Beginnings. My whole entire background's in agriculture and animal nutrition and stuff like that. I take pride. I have dairy cattle and beef cattle and stuff like that. And little known fact people don't realize, but deer are actually ruminants. So deer are a lot like cattle in the way that they digest things and everything else. So I just take my cattle nutritional ideals and utilize them towards the deer, but keeping in mind that deer have a lot more of a sparse utilization for feed and availability for feed. Like cattle have the real high quality, you feed them grain and wet hay, real high protein. Deer have to go out and scavenge for that. They have to be located around cornfields or bean fields or around grassy areas to get that high quality sustenance sustaining feed. Well, I was like, well, you put all them minerals and stuff that are naturally lacking and like what are readily available for deer to eat, deer are going to grow and take less sustainable food, so you can actually sustain more deer per acre using the minerals. So I just kind of, my whole entire background in this is all the nutritional side of things because I like everything that I own is happy and healthy. And I'm not happy unless they are happy and healthy. Like, so that same thing goes for deer. I tell you, I've shot more deer with my phone and trail camera than I have with a bow or a gun. And I've hunted since I was wee little. And I'd rather see the deer grow. And I'm not, and when we developed these minerals, is it wasn't just bucks. Because a healthy herd starts with a healthy fawn. If you don't have healthy fawns, you don't get healthy bucks. Because fawns are ideally the start of your whole entire process here. But so that's kind of I'm more the scientific side of things behind how we develop stuff and everything else.
Oh, okay. Well, that's awesome. I already learned something new. I didn't. I didn't know deer were related to cattle in a way, so that's pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they have the 4-chamber digestion.
Okay, so what brought you guys to be partners? Was it just you guys are mutual friends, and Eric was like, "Hey, Tommy, I know you're the guy when it comes to nutrition, and I'm starting this thing up."
Yeah, it was kind of along those lines. We met. My stepdad and him were good friends, and we met and we're like, we get along real good, and I have pretty well animal smarts about what nutrition animals need, and developing that, and how you can effectively do it without breaking the end consumer's bank. You make it quality and something that works. It brings the deer in. Not only does it bring them in, but it grows them. And it doesn't just grow antlers, it grows healthy deer. Like, you get marbling in deer, and how often have you ever seen a deer that you've shot have marbling, like a beef cow?
Right,
I've never
rarely,
shot
if
a deer
ever.
that had marbling until I started using this. You cut open a deer that's been fed this, it looks like a prime ribeye. Nice fat marbling through it. Big thick muscle. I mean, it's wild. So he and I just kind of threw our smarts together and our strengths, and this is the outcome.
Well, that's awesome. It definitely seems like y'all make one hell of a dynamic duo with it, so
Oh
it's
yeah.
pretty sweet.
I
So,
actually, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I actually tested it out on pigs, on hogs when I raised them when I was first starting it out, and then the butcher I took it to said they've never seen a better quality meat on a hog in their 20 years of butchering. And so they said it was the leanest meat and the best they've ever seen come through their butcher shop. And so,
damn.
and it's, yeah, it just what this mineral does is it just upgrades the meat to oh, like a prime meat on that. So,
Huh. So do you guys just apart from I guess the deer side, do you sell to farmers and stuff for their herds of livestock?
So that's something that we're actually kind of in the works. I know that when we're viewing what we're going to be talking about tonight, I see that's a further topic, but like the further down the pipeline thing, we're
Mm-hmm.
actually in the works of developing a cattle feed and cattle mineral based off of what we've developed for the deer. And so that's in the works. And we have plenty other products and ideas that we need to really act on, because there will definitely be a market for it and there's definitely a need for it.
Well, I'm excited to see what y'all come up with. So
yeah,
I
I
guess
have a, oh,
what
shoot.
was that?
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I got
There's a
a,
delay with it, so it kind of
oh, okay. I'm sorry. I never done any of these, but I have a bear formula in the works that has been tested out and it works really good. So, like he said, we're working on a bunch of different ideas with it, and that work fabulous.
And another thing about what we do is this isn't one of those like, uh, well, we came out with it yesterday, so we're going to sell it as the number one deer mineral on the shelf. No, there's been years and years of research and development. And like yourself, we'll send them we've sent them all over the United States to try, because you know, you as well as I know that the nutritional needs here in Ohio are not the same as the nutritional needs in the Dakotas. The nutritional needs here in Ohio are not the same as down in Sonora, Mexico, where we have minerals down in Mexico right now for coos deer and mule deer and stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty sweet. Like, just interacting with people, we've got it all over the United States, and we haven't really had any negative feedback from it, really. We've had a couple guys say that the deer didn't really touch it, but as to be expected. We're talking high foliage areas down around like swamp areas where they get all their nutrition from the aqueous grass and stuff like that. So I expected that. But they came in as an attractant. They just didn't devour and make a giant mud hole out of the minerals. But they still came. They still got camera pictures of the animals. It was wild. I thought it was so cool that people are willing to try it for us. And then they send us all the feedback that they get. They send us trail camera pictures and everything else. I was like, well, that's cool. Like, because people field testing it or how we improve our product.
Yeah, that's definitely true, and it's good to have those in the field reviews, like you were saying with the field tests, because you can see. I know we'll talk about it later, but different ecosystems, how it impacts the animals there. So that's pretty sweet that you guys have that. I don't know, philosophy behind it. Like, let's get it to the consumers and go from there.
Absolutely.
So, kind of staying on schedule, what are some essential ingredients or formulations that I guess make it an effective deer attractant or mineral, and how do you develop these products? I'm not asking y'all to give away your recipe because
Right,
I know there's
right,
probably
right.
scavengers
So,
out there that'll be writing this down and be like, okay, let's do it.
well, I mean, more power to them. I mean, I'm not here to say that they shouldn't take notes, because if you're one of the pioneers that's out there making your own mineral, take notes. I'm not going to give you every single one of our key ingredients, but if it can help you improve what your deer herd's doing, by all means, because we're ultimately in the business to serve people and how they hunt and make healthier animals. But some of our key ingredients, we have sodium bicarbonate, which many of you guys would know is baking soda. And again, Beings is my, I don't know if do you want me to elaborate on what these do?
If I got all night, brother, if
All right, cool.
you can go as much into it as you want.
So the like sodium bicarbonate, you got it helps with healthy rumen digestion. Beings as deer ruminants, they need that extra kick for help total feed utilization. So you can take a feed that's 6% protein with that added sodium bicarbonate. You're getting ultimately total feed utilization. So you're getting that full 6% protein out of that feed, to where you have a 8 or 10% feed that the deer are eating, that you don't have that sodium bicarbonate to help absorb the nutrients, help the rumen digestion. You're not getting total feed utilization. So the deer are ultimately losing 3 to 4 to 5% of that nutritional value because they can't fully digest and utilize everything in their feed that they're eating. So minerals play a key mineral in feed utilization and development, like selenium. Selenium is one of the things that's in it. Selenium is immune health, reproductive health, because, like I said earlier, does and fawns are the foundation of a healthy deer herd. Without does and fawns, you don't have bucks. At the end of the day, I'd rather see a nice, healthy doe fawn herd, because those are going to turn into bucks. But like your selenium does your immune health, reproductive health, helps with neurological functions and muscle development, all kinds of stuff. Selenium's just packed full of benefits. We have calcium iodate, which is a form of calcium that obviously helps bone development, rack growth. Your iodine, your iodate or iodine helps, is another key thing that the body needs that not a lot of people realize. That's why when you buy salt, it says iodized or non-iodized. Well, the iodized salt helps with your iodine intake, helps you out. We have sulfur, zinc, regular calcium, potassium citrate. There's all kinds of different minerals and macro and micronutrients that deer need that most people don't even realize. If you look on the back of a bag of your leading competitors' deer minerals, you aren't going to see half the stuff that's in ours. And that's something that, because here in Northeast Ohio, where we're at, we have the worst nutritional growth for soil. Like our soil here, there's places that have good soil, but it's naturally lacking in like selenium and sulfur and zinc in your natural occurring salts and minerals that the deer need, or any animal for that matter, need to grow and develop. So that's what we kind of based what we needed to put in there, was off of, well, what do we have in the soil? What do we have in the plants? What do we not have in the soil? What do we not have in the plants? What can we add to help that?
So where do you if a guy wanted to go buy, it sounds pretty fancy. I've never seen that at the local Walmart for some of these ingredients.
No,
So
no.
where do you? Is it just something like you do you specially source it from like
Like
a
you
mineral
get,
mine or?
no, we get a lot of our stuff we'll get from like the local co-op for like animal feeds and stuff like that. We'll get like the mixing ingredients. We'll order, like around here we have a Heritage, it's called Heritage Co-op, where like farmers buy their feed and stuff like that. We get a lot of our stuff from there.
Okay, that's pretty. That makes sense, and that's
Yep.
that's cool too, because then you're supporting local business yourself, so
Exactly,
helping the farmers out and.
exactly.
I'll throw in something there. I had a guy that shot a deer this year, and he said from last year till this year, that deer put on 30 inches.
Jeez.
Yeah, I couldn't. I knew it grew stuff good, but I got to sit beside the deer and hold it up and everything. It was huge. It was a, and then he showed me the pictures of it. And yeah, he showed me the picture of it from last year to this year, and he shot it, and he told me it put on 30 inches of antler using the minerals. It was
Oh.
awesome. That
I
made me feel pretty good.
I can actually send you a picture of that deer as soon as we get off of here so you can look at it.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
a
I'd love to
really
see
looking
that.
deer.
Man, that's crazy. Yeah, I'm definitely excited because I know out here in western South Dakota, we don't really have the farmland and the necessary minerals that the deer need, and so I'm excited. I've been putting like a couple scoops out in the same spot, so hopefully throughout the winter and stuff, once next year, once they start growing their antlers back, we'll see a good difference. So I'm excited to
Oh yeah.
kind of get a before and after on the herd I currently hunt. So
Oh yeah, you'll be pleased.
I'm looking forward to it. So as far as deer behavior, how important is it to understand deer behavior when creating an attractant? And are there specific patterns or like instincts with the deer that you want to tap into when you create your product?
So, starting with instincts. Deer are curious animals. Naturally, they're curious. So, you find a good, strong scent. That's why cherry does good. Wild berry does good. You got that sugar beet scent, draws them all in, because that's a naturally occurring strong scent. And deer are like, well, where's that coming from? I better go investigate that. That's a food source. And that follows right into animal behavior and patterns. Deer are looking for three things: bedding, water, and food. Bedding, they want their safety. We don't put minerals by bedding areas. We put minerals by water and food areas. If you have heavy trails going to and from those watering holes and those feed areas, put your minerals to those heavily used trails, because that's how you know the deer, like, they're on the at the watering hole or at the feed source. Don't put them on the trails. just so they get used to one spot where it's at. We put them there because deer are habitual. They're like cattle, they travel the same trails. I'm sure you've noticed any outdoorsman that goes out, deer have their trails. I mean, you can screw up their trails. If you send up their trails or drive four-wheelers through their trails or something, they'll switch it up for a couple days, but they'll come back to that trail. I mean, ultimately, deer are very much a creature of habit. They go to the same spot, same place, do the same thing. They want to eat the same thing. So we kind of tapped into the deer habitual, but deer are always, they do eat new stuff. So there's been guys that we've sent minerals out to that they were like, well, the deer didn't hit them for like the first day. But then after they figured out what it was, they said, my God, it was like a feeding frenzy. There were deer there all day, every day, just devouring it. And I was like, well, just like people as are deer, you're hesitant to try something new at first. But then once someone takes the flying leap and they're like, hey, this stuff's pretty good, you're going to be like, I'm on it. And so, yeah, we kind of went off of that. So it was like, it brings them in, knowing that deer are curious. You make it so that it draws them in. They're curious about it. Then you make it so it's completely utilizable for the deer, easy for them to eat. Soaks in the ground after it rains, so it creates a nice mineral digging spot, mineral lick. It's just deer will find it. Beings, so I farm, like I said earlier, we have 290 acres that I farm. I put, the first time I used it, I put it at the far corner of the farm by one of the water spots. I was like, I'll put it out here. The deer come out here all the time. Well, they tore a mud hole out of it. And I was like, cool. I'm going to put it on the opposite corner of the farm over there by the cornfield and see if they go over there. They tore a mud hole out of it. Keep in mind, that's probably a mile and a half, 2 miles from the original watering hole spot. And then I was like, well, heck, I'm going to put it up by the barn, up by the grain bins, because the deer go up there and eat all the spilled corn on the ground from the grain bins. They tore a mud hole out of that too. So anywhere where there's deer, if you put those minerals, even if there's not, they'll find it, because deer have a very keen sense of smell. And deer will find whatever they need. Like, kind of like people have that natural ability to know what they need without actually knowing what they need. Deer is the same way. They know that they need a certain mineral.
Okay, so it's
Yeah.
so it's like a intuition type thing.
Yeah,
Like
it's like,
they don't know why, but just something inside of them's like, okay, I need this.
exactly. Like when people, like, you get your sodium or something gets low, your sodium intake gets low, you crave salt. You ever get that craving where you're like, man, I need something salty today. Like I need some French fries or something like that. Well, that's your body needs sodium. You just think, well, it's a craving because I like salt. No, that's your body telling you, well, I need sodium. Or like, you just get that hardcore, you get cramps real bad. And you're like, well, better eat a banana. How in the world did you expect, what? Why did you think, well, I need a banana? I don't know. My grandmother never told me, well, go eat a banana when you get cramps. I was just like, well, okay. So I did. Well, come to find out, bananas are high in potassium. Potassium helps with muscle cramps. So it's just kind of like an intuition thing. It's like you crave what you need. Same thing for animals. Animals crave what they need. and they will go to great
It's
lengths.
honestly amazing. Like
Meat.
wow,
Right.
it's amazing how they just know.
Right.
That just blows my mind, and I'm sure a lot of the listeners are out there thinking, "How in the hell?"
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, but if you actually sit down and think about it, like if some of these guys that are out here, guys or girls out there listening tonight, just sit and think while you're driving home, sitting there watching TV, whatever they may be doing. Just sit there and think about it. How many times have you sat there and been like, "Well, I need this," and then think about what's in that. Think about what nutrients are in that. Well, maybe I was craving that because I needed that. Or how many times have you stuck a salt block out for a cow in a totally different area? Well, cattle go eat their feed and then walk 300 or 400 yards over to a salt block. Well, what in the world made a cow leave their feed to go eat the salt block? You didn't go over there and tell them, hey, you need to go over there and eat that salt block. No, their
They're probably
body
just
tells them.
pissed you didn't put the salt on the food.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we put minerals in there, but I feed full choice trace minerals to the cattle too. So, but it's one of those things. It's like
Okay.
if you think about it, you can't tell an animal to go eat a mineral. They have to know that they need it to go eat it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's one of those
That's
things that you don't actually sit and think about these things. Well, I used to do a lot of driving. I hauled cattle and traveled for work and everything else. So I was sitting there thinking, well, maybe deer are the same way people are, or the same way cattle are. They crave things, and so they're going to seek it out. They're going to find it.
huh. That's definitely interesting. I guess just the like we were talking about the natural intuition. Like okay, it just blows my mind how they're like okay, humans, animals are like we need it. We don't know why we need it, so let's go find it and make
Right,
ourselves feel better. That's
right,
just great.
right. And nobody. I guarantee you, over half the people that are listening tonight have never actually sat and thought about that. What makes me crave salt? What makes me crave a banana? What makes me crave orange juice? Yeah, they all taste good, but what is actually the reason why you chose to go drink that certain thing? Because your body needs something that's in it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely learning a lot from this so far. So I appreciate it. And I'm sure the listeners are learning a lot too. So I appreciate all the insight.
Absolutely.
Yeah, another
So,
thing I was going to point out with him saying about he put it in different spots and the patterns or whatever. I had a guy test it out on YouTube. He on purpose he put it out in a spot. He searched for a spot where there was no deer at all. No tracks, no nothing. And he put the minerals out. And I think he said in 4 days he had deer on that spot. And
wow.
that because they can smell it. And it's nice because say somebody has a new property out or a new piece of land or something, and you can put these minerals out and it'll attract the deer into the area pretty fast. Or if somebody has a quick hunt or something, I see some people travel from state to state, then you can just put these minerals out and mix it in with a little bit of corn, and on the weekend you can get your deer. I mean, uh, and or attract the deer. So it's nice to you. It has a very high attractant um, to it. So, and my buddy just put some out maybe 3 weeks ago, and he said in 2 days he killed 2 deer with it. So
Wow.
both hunts he got deer. So filled his freezer.
That's amazing. So, I know we kind of touched on it earlier and throughout the show so far. What would you guys both say is like your most successful story from a user? Like, whether it's the folks down in Mexico, like I just want to know myself. How do you? Was it social media where you just reached out, like, hey, I see you have these deer hunts in Mexico. Would you like to try our mineral? And it just kind of stuck with them, or
Yeah,
how'd that work out?
I reached out to Tony Smotherland of CVA, and I would just go on social media and then ask them if they wanted to try the product and everything, and they was like, yeah, we can give it a shot, and he said it worked pretty good. Tony did, and I reached out to McCorder Custom Rifles down in Georgia, and he just sent me a picture of a pretty big buck on the minerals and everything. So I kind of just gave it a shot, on and reaching out to people over social media, and then asked, "Hey, do you want a sample of this?" And then it's like, "Yeah," and then I sent them the sample, and like I said, I haven't gotten any negative feedback from it. Maybe like once there was a person in Oklahoma um, that said they didn't touch it, but he didn't, he said it probably wasn't the minerals because the deer wouldn't even eat the corn down there that he put out. So, so it's like, but I think it's in 32 states now.
And Mexico.
And Mexico, I have it out. And
Wow.
so,
But touching on the Mexico guys, I run our Instagram page, and it was kind of one of those things that I was just browsing through. Well, we kind of found each other and started messaging back and forth, and I was like, would you guys be interested in using this stuff down in Mexico? And shout out to Mad Hunts. That's who's using it. Cade said, absolutely, we'd be definitely interested in trying this. And so we sent them some to try. They sent down there, and they're like, whoa. Because they used to make their own minerals, and they're like, this stuff's crazy. I mean, in Mexico, I didn't even know there was a huge hunting following in Mexico. But I guess there is. I mean, there's big outfitters down there. And Cade said one of their ranches is, 120 square miles or 170 square miles. And they're putting
Wow.
it out on their feeders and their watering holes and stuff like that. He said it's amazing. Brings them in, they grow nice. But yeah, we reach out on social media, word of mouth. Word of mouth's a big seller around here. You have a good name, people will pass you on. And we're working on our website. Our website's in development. So once that's up and rolling, I'm sure we'll get a little bit more foot traffic.
Yeah, and I'll in the show notes once I get this published, I'll make sure to put your social media on there and try to drive listeners and stuff because I'm sure by now they're interested and they're curious. So hopefully
Absolutely.
they come over and check you guys out.
did you hear? You probably heard of Larry Weissoon, haven't you? The
Sounds familiar.
he was working with did the Real Tree videos with Bill Jordan. He worked with Bill Jordan and everything, and they call him the whitetail guru or something. I sent
Okay.
I did a podcast with Luke Clayton and him, or just with Luke Clayton, and then and then he used the minerals before, and he said, and he put them out, and he said within 2.5 hours he had deer on it down in Texas, and that because yeah, like he was saying, you don't see many like the big for down there. It's like you hear a lot more from Texas, deer country, but Mexico, I'm excited about having it down there too.
Is there, I guess, how is it sending it across international border? Is there any like weird trade regulations you guys have to do, or is it pretty straightforward?
Well, what we do is we send it. These guys are based out of Arizona. They live in Arizona. So
Okay.
we send it to their home in Arizona and they truck it across and they put it out when they're checking trail cameras or putting trail cameras out, or when they take people down to hunt, they'll refresh mineral spots when they go down. So we haven't ran into any issues yet. We haven't actually sent it out of the United States yet. I'm sure there will be hoops to jump through when we get to that point, but we'll tackle those obstacles when we get there.
Okay. That's that's wild. I hope you guys continue to grow though, because it's definitely a great product, and I think it's awesome. You guys, it sounds like you guys already have some skin in the game with some big names out there. So I just wish you guys nothing but continued growth. That's amazing to hear.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
Um, so are there in? I guess from what I gather, like you were saying earlier, with field tests and stuff, that research is always ongoing, and so is development to kind of enhance things. But is there anything special that you guys are specifically doing, or any special projects to kind of see if you can tweak things, make things better? Are you guys happy where they are, or open to feedback? How's that work?
So Eric's kind of spearheading the bare mineral thing with a little bit of input from me when needed. I'm working on a liquid version of the deer mineral for like a pour on for like a licking stump, because I've realized that there's a lot of people that actually like that. The pour on, you can pour it on a stump, make a mineral lick, or pour it on the ground, top your corn with it, whatever you may choose to do. But those are two of our projects that are in the lineup. Uh, there's plenty of other things that we're working on to get developed. Like we want to get brand names. Like currently, right now, we're just selling our minerals under New Beginnings Minerals. We're currently trying to develop like a name, like how you have your like I'll use vehicles for example. Your General Motors sells tons of vehicles, but they have Chevrolet and Buick and stuff like that. We're trying to find like the subdivisions, like your minerals will be New Beginnings Rack Maker or Total Herd Health or something like that. Something so it's not all. We've got some marketing and like logistics side of the things that we need to work on also, being as this is relatively a new venture for us.
That's wow. So when I'm just kind of curious myself, what's the timeline for the bear attractant and mineral? Because I know this coming late spring, we're gonna do a over-the-counter Western Wyoming black bear hunt. So if you have it done, I'd be interested in buying some and testing it out, and hopefully getting a bear on it for you and get some content for you guys.
Oh, okay, because it's pretty much done because I'll send Tommy some pictures of the bears.
I have some.
Oh, do you?
Yep.
Okay, because um, I'm I'm pretty sure it's done because it's been working phenomenal. I he's, I had a couple people in PA use it, and and the bear was actually laying in the minerals, and just phenomenal and everything, and it attracts them like crazy. It's a little bit different than the deer formula, but then, but it's pretty much done. It's a done deal. I just gotta get a name for it and that. But yeah, you're more than welcome to get some off me, and it's pretty much ready.
And to touch on what Eric
Okay.
said about the guys using it over in Pennsylvania, being as it is illegal to use minerals over in PA, they are using them out of season. So these guys are being legal. I just don't want anybody saying, "Oh, well, that ain't okay to do that." They are using them out of season. They're doing it legally.
Yeah, they will use it and then
Remove it
and
months prior to season.
yeah, and then they'll remove it. So
That's actually, that brings up a whole nother good thing. There is a huge learning curve for us figuring out what states you're allowed to use minerals and what states you're allowed to use minerals and not attractants, what states you're allowed to use attractants but not minerals, because there are states that have those stipulations that we need to know. So if a guy from that state goes, well, I want you to send me this stuff, well, we make sure there's a stipulation in the clause when they buy it or whatever else, so we're not held responsible because they're well known that it's against your state regulations. Because I am a textbook hunter. I do not like it when people break rules because all it does is ruin it for the rest of us. Because
Right.
I want hunting to be a sport that's on there for when my grandkids, my great grandkids, their kids. I don't want bad apples ruin it for everybody else.
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing to look into because there's some shifty people out there, and like you were saying, you hate to see it, but every state people are breaking laws or poaching deer and stuff. So it's good on
Right.
you guys for
Right.
kind of doing that groundwork and making sure that you're covering your own bases. Because that would suck to try to hook someone up out of the kindness in your hearts, and then they go and get caught by the green jeans or the warden or whatever, and
They're like,
then
well,
they try to screw you.
these
So
guys sold it to us knowing that it's illegal in this state. Well, yeah, but you signed
man,
you bought it knowing that it was illegal in this state, and we made a clause that we're not responsible.
yeah,
I
what do
mean,
they call it? There's a lot of Karens out there, so
we
they
were
yeah,
we were also thinking about on our website looking up all the states that are illegal for like deer baiting and maybe putting it to where it's restricted, not for sale in those states, just to cover or not to be used for deer or wildlife in those states. Just because, like I said, I'm not. That's there's so much fine print on that stuff that half the time I don't even know if some of the hunters in these states actually realize some of them rules. Because I actually sat and read the Ohio rule book and I learned quite a bit of stuff out of that I never even knew was a thing.
yeah,
I
that
mean,
they change regulations every year, so it's like you almost have to keep up on it
right?
just
Exactly. Exactly.
and then you get the people out there that they get caught, and whether they know the regulations or not, the warden will be like, "Okay, well, why don't you?" So
Exactly.
yeah.
it's just crazy.
Exactly. It is. I mean, people are always overstepping boundaries.
Yeah, trying to see how much they can keep pushing until they get caught, and it's sad. Like you said, it ruins it for the
Yep.
rest of
Yep.
the sportsmen out there.
Yep. See how far they can edge before they fall off the cliff.
Yep. So I guess closing things up with the episode, do you guys have any final thoughts, tips on the minerals, or messages you'd like to share with all the listeners out there who are interested in checking you guys out, checking out your product? How would they go about contacting you? And like I said, just closing thoughts, tips, messages.
I wanted to throw something in there. Uh, People ask me about if it works in a feeder. It does work in a feeder. I've had a person from Georgia, like the throw feeders. I'm not talking like.
It works in gravity feeders also. That's what I use.
Yeah, because a lot of people ask me about that. Does it work in a feeder? And I had a couple people test it out on one of them throw time feeders, and it does work for that. Um, I just thought I'd throw that in there because a lot of people have feeders, and so it does work in a feeder and that. So oh, and I was gonna come up with a hog formula I'm working on too, just to throw that in there.
Like I said,
Okay. I'm sure.
we have lots of stuff coming down the pipeline. But contacts for now, since our website isn't up yet, we have a Facebook page. You can find us under New Beginnings Minerals on Facebook. You can also find us on New Beginnings Minerals on Instagram. Or you can contact Eric on his phone number. I'll have him. Do you want us to just go ahead and read them off on here for the listeners?
Yeah, I reckon if you want to, and like I said, I'll go ahead and throw them in the show notes so people
right.
will know how to get in contact with y'all.
Eric, go ahead.
Okay, my phone number is 234-567-6576. That's my cell phone number. That you can contact me anytime. I always have my phone on me, so yeah, that's the way you can contact me.
My cell is 330-206-8161. And we are Eastern Standard Time, so we're 2 hours ahead of you where you're at. But same thing with me. I have my phone on me most of the time. If I don't answer, leave a voicemail and I will get back to you. Or text me. I'm just as responsive to text messages. Just give me your name, what you're interested in. If you have questions, feel free to contact me with questions, even if you just have questions about our mineral or how to improve your deer herd. You can contact.
Awesome. Well, with that, I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your nights. I know it's shoot at 7 o'clock here, so it's 9 o'clock your time. So I appreciate y'all staying up late just to chit chat and educate me and all those out there listening right now. And it's just like I said, it's amazing what you guys are doing, and I wish you nothing but continued success. And I'm excited to see what you guys come up with down the line as far as product goes. And I'm excited to continue to use your products. I'll probably make an order. I'll have to hit up Eric here probably in a month or two once I'm getting kind of low, so I'll have to buy some off you, get out here. But I just appreciate it, and it's like I said, it's just amazing that you guys are so educated and into what you're doing, because not a lot of people are in it for, like, companies are in it like to see what they can get for $1, but you guys put your heart and soul, it seems, into it just to get the best product to the people. So that's awesome.
Right.
Yeah, I love it. It's hunting's always been a thing for me. Like just I remember going out squirrel hunting, like pheasant hunting. So hunting's been just like always something I love to do all my life and everything. And then I just got into more of the deer hunting and then wanted to give. When I got into the mineral business, I wanted to get people a quality product that's affordable and it really works instead of paying $2 a pound for it or whatever. I just wanted to give because I know how it is when working a job and you don't. Some people might not get much time to hunt, you know. So I was like, I want to make something that works fast, that will grow the deer healthier, grow the antlers, have a healthier doe to fawn ratio, and I just wanted to build a quality product, and I think we've accomplished that.
Absolutely. Like I said, you guys, everybody listening, feel free to contact us. I I'll talk to you, get you hooked up with minerals. Eric will talk to you and get you hooked up with minerals. I appreciate you guys for listening to us tonight.
Awesome. Well, thanks for getting on, and once again, New Beginnings Minerals, everyone. Make sure to check them out. Support a business, and it's quality products. I can attest to that, and so can their social media pages. So, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you.